For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas. We begin in Ferguson, Missouri, where on Monday, family, friends, and supporters of Michael Brown celebrated his life. The unarmed black teenager was killed by a white police officer. The funeral service was filled with calls for justice and police reforms. Brown's murder focused global attention on the state of race relations in the U.S. and on police use of heavy-handed tactics and military gear against civil rights protesters. At the funeral, speakers demanded that Brown's death become a watershed moment for U.S. race relations.
This is about justice. This is about fairness. And America is going to have to come to terms with there's something wrong, that we have money to give military equipment to police forces, but we don't have money for training and money for public education and money to train our children.
And moving on to Gaza, where the number of Palestinian dead as a result of the Israeli offensive has surpassed 2,100. Peace talks are expected to continue next week. With more, we go to our correspondent in Gaza, Noor Harazin.
The Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip continued in the evening time. The residents called this escalation or this continuation of the operation the war on cars and buildings, because in the past few days the Israeli warplanes have been targeting cars and also towers and buildings. There's many people that were killed today. At least 12 Palestinians were killed in the Gaza Strip today, including 2 people that died from their injuries in previous attacks in the previous days. However, the top story now in the Gaza Strip is the talk about a truce, about getting back to the indirect negotiations after Egypt called on the Palestinian factions to go back to the negotiations. Now the Palestinian people on the ground are awaiting the acceptance of Hamas and the Palestinian militants to go back to Cairo to continue the negotiations and lead them to a long-term truce.
And thanks again to Noor. To Latin America and Colombia now, where new information shows that the political party led by former President Alvaro Uribe has spied on current President Juan Manuel Santos. The two were formerly close allies, but that alliance ended following Santos' support of the peace process to end Colombia's 50-year civil war. Uribe strongly opposes the peace talks. Manuel Santos strongly condemns the actions of Uribe's party.
What you had was a criminal enterprise, an enterprise to commit crimes, and that is why, as a president and head of state, one that will reach conclusions to all of these situations because these accusations. These observations are very severe in a state of law, in a democracy as ours. This is extremely dangerous, and I want us to reach to the bottom of this.
Uruguay observed its 189th Independence Day Monday. The country gained independence in 1825. In an interview for the occasion, President Jose Mujica revealed he would not accept the Nobel Peace Prize if he were to win it. The president has been nominated for the prize after brokering a deal with the U.S. government for Uruguay to receive 6 Guantanamo Bay detainees. And in Peru, where a 5.7 earthquake rattled the country on Monday. The latest tremor follows an even stronger earthquake on Sunday. The shaking damaged some infrastructure. It is the latest earthquake to hit the Andean region after quakes in Ecuador recently killed 4 people. To Ecuador, where President Rafael Correa has announced that same-sex civil unions will be recognized by the state. The announcement comes after the civil registry denied registering those unions, claiming that there was still uncertainty with the law. The Ecuadorian Constitution, approved in 2008, recognizes all civil unions as legally binding. The United States continues its bombing campaign in Iraq, targeting the Islamic State. On Monday, officials also announced that the U.S. would prepare military options in Syria. Meanwhile, Syrian officials announced that Syria is willing to cooperate with any country to counter the extremist group.
We are ready to cooperate and coordinate with regional countries and the international community in fighting terrorism, following the resolutions of the Security Council. We welcome everybody.
And to Ukraine, where President Petro Poroshenko has dissolved the parliament. His decision follows criticism of opposition parties which oppose his military actions in the eastern section of Ukraine, targeting those demanding greater autonomy. The elections will likely leave opposition parties weakened.
Snap elections are a part of my peace plan. Its key point is political dialogue with Donbass. Sorry, but who shall we talk to? We can talk to illegal armed groups in the language of force only until they lay down weapons.
China dismissed criticism from the United States Monday that blamed the Asian country for flying a fighter jet dangerously close to a U.S. Navy plane in international airspace. The Pentagon called the incident very dangerous. The two planes were flying 150 miles east of a Chinese submarine base. Chinese officials say the U.S.'s large-scale reconnaissance and military missions in Asia are the root causes of such incidents. We end tonight on a cultural note from London, where hundreds of thousands celebrated the final day of the Notting Hill Carnival on Monday. More than 1 million people took to the streets for the two-day event. It is the largest carnival in Europe. It celebrates the roles of the UK's large black community. The carnival features Caribbean culture, food, music, and dance. It will mark its 50th anniversary in 2016. The carnival was born as a response to police harassment of black communities and widespread racism in the UK following post-war immigration from the Caribbean.
So there are always things that we're going to have to police.
More on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle.